It's like one of those like side of the farm doors, like the ones that you wheel open. You knock on it. A few moments pass as you guys hear someone approaching. Let me get rid of Ted here. Put him to the GM there. Get out of here. You guys hear the sounds of someone approaching, and the door wheels open, and you guys see the familiar visage that is comedian.
I was really hoping there was going to be a progeny in here.
No. She opens up the door.
Did we see any on the way over?
Roll me to 100.
Alright.
Do I also, or just them?
Just you. Just a 1.
Just a 1, eh?
51. That's almost mid.
You think you saw one. There was like this weird bird flying around, but it was too far for you to make out the details of. To Jin, that is the one known as Flapper.
Yeah. And that one was mentioned previously. So it makes sense that one would click. I'm just like, I think that's one.
Yeah, but it was flying pretty high up, so you're not quite sure.
Yeah, if it was far enough away, she'd be looking around, glance at it. It's a weird bird. Look away.
The door opens up and you guys see comedian, and she just holds up a hailing hand like, yo. But she obviously doesn't talk, so you just hear the rat over gauntlet.
Dahlia will just do the same. Is Grover here?
She nods and takes a step aside to usher you guys into the room.
I enter.
You guys enter.
Like door person.
You guys see, let me go grab his token. You guys see, of course, Shroud. Oh, that is small.
Da boy.
Small. You guys do see Grover, and he does have his Magimorph manifested.
His little friend.
And then you guys also see Nova. She wouldn't be in that one, though. She would be in this one. She is not in her casual attire, I'm afraid. She's partly... That's on Gemma.
It's okay, I saw it in the VODs. I was like, yes, I worked on that!
Yeah, she's partly in her kit. She's like doing some tests and calibrations with it.
Make sure everything like bends fluidly.
Yeah. But her face and everything's still visible. She's like doing like basically like stretches, like jump stretches and stuff like that. And she does like a 2-finger flick salute. Yo! How's it hanging?
Just give her a nod and shrug. It's going.
Which one of you am I talking to right now, by the way? She smiles like with a shit-eating grin.
Dahlia frowns and narrows her eyes.
Hey, she shrugs. I try to defend you, but she throws a thumb over at Grover, just spilled the beans like it was nothing. My rationale was sound and secure, with all the townsfolk having been queer witnesses of the event. Yeah, sure. He tells himself that to sleep at night.
Was the event me announcing that I have another presence with me?
He puts down the 2 vials that he works on and looks in your guys' direction. You have 2 options. Either that was you, and you are criminally charged, or that wasn't you, and you have a alibi/dark passenger to blame it on. Which one would you rather prefer?
You already know the answer.
That's what I thought. So you're welcome for saving your life.
Thank you.
Twice. He holds up 2 fingers with one of the vials he's still holding.
I already thanked you for the other one.
Are you both ready to go? Actually, no, Mina would be here. Are you all ready to go?
Not quite.
This one has some questions, it sounds like.
I do.
Put the Mina on the screen.
Wall starts walking over to Grover, depending on how far his workstation is.
He's the furthest possible from the door.
Of course.
He wants as little interaction from any living being as possible.
That's crazy. That's wild.
And here I am, invading his space.
Oh, easy fix. Just kill yourself and then you won't be a living being.
Do you hear everything that comes out of that plant in the room?
Only when it deemed it such.
So when you listen in?
No. It has its own capability of making those sorts of judgments on its own. Why do you ask?
Because that is mighty interesting. And I did tell it I had a question for you. I was wondering if you heard.
I did not. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
He doesn't continue the conversation. He's still working the entire time.
More important things than you.
Yeah, fair enough. She'll pull out the Zampalm slice that she has.
Now that you pulled it out, it's smaller now.
I was gonna say, looking at it, is it smaller because it looks like it's shrunk, or like it's taken
dehydrated,
been taken away?
Both.
She thinks of how to word this question as I think of how to word the question.
You guys can hear in the sound. The background sounds like some servos going off. Nova does like some kicks. Like it's like those like Wing Chun like martial arts kicks where she never puts her leg back down until she's delivered like 4 different kicks.
Jin nods approvingly, having seen someone do this, but having no idea what the form is supposed to look like.
It's definitely impressive that she's doing it in equivocally plate armor.
Actually, yeah, very true.
What do I need to do to get you to help me figure out how to preserve this?
What makes you think I would help you at all?
That's what I'm asking.
Perhaps you should pursue your own alchemical endeavors on your own.
I started, but I worried I don't have enough time to figure it out.
Then I'm afraid to say that your endeavors are doomed to fail constantly. He looks to you, finally.
Look
You
at him.
make the time. The world will not wait for you. Sometimes I'll take sacrifices. He goes back to working. As he does not allow you guys to steal any more of his time.
Back at the Zampalm slice. Nod. Put it away. Alright, well that's everything that I had to do. Turn to Jin.
He just looks... I guess surprised, and it's probably not well hidden at how easily you're just like, well, that's dead. I don't know if it's like surprised at the fetus thing, but it's like he expected more fight.
Why are you looking at me like that? What do you want? Start walking back over.
Nothing in particular.
I don't believe you, but alright.
You walk back over to Jin, and you can see out from behind Jin, because he's looking towards you. Nova's behind him. She's looking from you guys to Grover.
Mm-hmm.
Like looking back and forth between you guys. You blink for a moment, and then she's suddenly next to Jin. You guys didn't even hear it. It reminds you slightly of when Tao moved that one time, when then he was suddenly next to Falk. Like, it reminds you a bit of that. Like, that's just how fast and eerily quiet it was.
Jin just gets that, like prickle feeling on the back of your neck, where it's like, something's off. He glances over, sees her, looks back, and then double takes, like, oh, shit!
She
Just
does
raise
that.
an eye at her.
I'm going to die so young from a heart attack.
You guys good? She looks, pointing with her eyes at Grover.
I thought so, but now you're making me question it.
No, I'm just asking. She points
But
with her
why are
eyes
you
at
asking?
Grover again. Like, she looks at you, looks at Grover, like, tilts her head in Grover's direction, like, that one over there, sort of style.
But why are you asking?
Well, can't a girl offer help to people that need help?
Look back at Grover, look at Nova.
She quirks an eyebrow. This sort
Elliot
of
tilts her head.
intoning, do you want me to have a word with him?
You helped that Nova in the past, it's only fair.
Have you guys helped Nova in the past?
Denver specifically did convince Grover to let her have bombs.
Oh, good girl.
Yeah.
I don't remember you
Yes,
doing
but-
anything, but
Jin didn't do shit.
I suppose not. To answer the question she asked, and then Dahlia will nod once.
she zips over to Grover's station, landing very delicately despite the mass that she's moving.
In plate armor.
Dahlia's gonna try to make it look like she's not watching, but she wants to know what's going on.
Hey,
Yeah, you
what
can hear
an
play with the
asshole.
big ol' ears.
What? You hear like some whispering between the two of them. Well, it's whispering predominantly from Grover, and it's half whispering for Nova. Like, you're gonna be such a fucking dick. They have this back and forth for a few minutes. Comedian doing her very, very, very best to busy herself while Shroud just sort of watches from a distance like a cat watching like a people arguing. Like he's just like, I'm happy that's happening over there, and I'm over here. That's crazy.
Whew, thank God we're out of the splash zone.
Fine. Stop. Yes. You know, one of these days you'll snap. I know, but it goes both ways, man. They both have a stare down. Touche. Oh, I didn't know you know Eulonian. Ha 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 ha. Fine. He points at you. You two, come here.
She makes her way over. Already
see it.
pulling out the Zampom.
He holds it out. His hand to receive it. Let me see.
She
Gin
hands over the
accompanies,
glass
'cause
bottle that it's
I
in.
said 2. Was it a bottle? Nice.
Yes.
Much smarter than
I
a
got some
rat.
glass bottles and I put it in one.
Yeah. For some reason, it
Shakes
just thought it
it.
was like wrapped up.
Not hermetically sealed. That's unfortunate.
I don't know what that is. Or would she know what that is? Probably not.
No.
No, that's a,
Yeah.
that's
If you're an
science alchemist.
intelligence-based alchemist, then yes, but you are, so no.
I didn't think so!
A good distinction between the two. There's a lot of distinctions, but an important one for you to note: wisdom versus based alchemy is the duration. Wisdom can go harder, but not last anywhere near as long as intelligence.
Mhm.
Right? Plants expire a lot faster than chemical compounds do.
Mhm.
The essence of a plant will deteriorate and fade back into the ether that it was born from faster than a compound would decompose. So, like, those are the two catches of it.
Mhm.
So, a lot of your alchemy, as evidenced by the alchemist class, it lasts until the next long rest.
Mhm.
Whereas intelligence-based alchemy might still also do that because that's the aim of it, trying to mimic wisdom alchemy. But
Mhm.
if you have like a lab to work with, like Grover, then you can go for longer. Or Arnie, by that account, but he works on bombs. Not much else.
Yeah, it's like
Not
uranium
hermetic.
versus an apple. They could both be effective, but one will rot.
And one's a good diet substitute. Moving on. Not hermetically sealed.
I don't know what that means.
It means it's sealed in a container that is absolutely contained. No airflow, water flow, liquid flow, fluid flow. It is static. Aside from, stuff that happens inside the jar.
She's listening. So how do I make that happen?
I would advise you purchasing one, but you're not going to be able to purchase one here of all places. But as for this, he puts it onto the tabletop. There's not much undoing what's been done to that. It was hit by the Blood Star's radiance. Well, he gestures at you two, all of you. Everything about you was hit by it, technically. This is nothing special. He taps the container it's in.
Nods.
He stares at it for a moment. Oh. He's going quiet. That means shut it. Shutting it.
Yeah, Dolly would wave at her like, shut up, shut up.
Jen leans over to Nova, just trying to be as quiet as he can. Does that mean they're thinking?
She nods. As he goes, "Shh."
Looking at it while he's doing his own thing, Can Dahlia determine how much of it she can still use for her purposes? Like how useful it's still going to be for her?
Raw Arcana at disadvantage.
Eee.
Okie dokie.
Is it at
Or
least Wisdom
religion.
Arcana? Oh,
Or
No.
religion?
Or religion.
finds
I
God in
have
this
a
plant.
plus. Just add a +2 to that roll because I have.
Yeah,
yeah.
18. Because you don't have guidance here.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Perfect. It was meant to be.
Yeah, 'cause
A quarter of it tops.
She frowns. But at least it's something.
Because it's like you've seen like dried meats and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
There's an outer exterior portion of it which is no longer edible because it's like it's called not pemmican, that's the Sorrowa food, but that crust that's outside of it is no longer edible, or this you shouldn't try to eat it.
Yeah, it's effectively
That's
rotten.
essentially what happened to this. The outer layers of the seeds and the shell, I'll call it, of the pomegranate are desiccated. Maybe not entirely, but severely. So the only part that you could really work with at this point is the most central part of it, the part that's the most sheltered from the heat and the radiation.
Mhm.
So about a quarter of it, and it doesn't help that pomegranate the way it's made. When you crack open a pomegranate, they're already divided with cracks in the middle. So
Right.
yeah, you don't have much to work with. That being said, he continues to stare at it. How long have you had this?
She would divulge that information, but I have not been keeping track.
I
Do
think
you
a couple
recall-
weeks.
Do you recall from whom you received it from?
Yeah, I got it from Roma, but she got it from the other guy.
And when did she meet that other guy?
It was at the Spire, but I
Was
don't
it?
know. I don't know how long ago that was, though, like day wise.
About a couple weeks at this point.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, at least a week for sure.
Yeah, at least that.
So yeah.
1, 2, at the longest, a month.
Probably 3 weeks is tops, yeah.
She'd be tracking more carefully than, I, the player, am. So she'd
And it's
say
been
her
with
weapons.
you since the beginning.
Not since I got it from Roma, who got it from the other guy, who had it imported. If she would know that word.
Yeah, you would.
Are you concerned about there being more exposure from our time traveling through the city?
He shakes his head. That's not my concern at all. I'm not thinking of concerns right now. I'm thinking of opportunities.
Hmm.
Would you be open to parting with this? For the betterment of your own group? Potentially. I'm not promising anything,
I
but
would.
it's an
but
avenue.
I would, but it's a question if Roma would. She gave it to me to do with, to figure out, I should say.
Then I would
I'm
have
not
to
sure.
ask how much is Roma a team player?
Looks at Jen as the only other party member here and just kind of goes, oh.
Yeah. She'll go with what we do, but she operates at the beat of her own drum, let's say. For a lot of things.
Then perhaps we'll need to change our approach vector. Let me rephrase. Let me ask a different question. Instead of how much is she a team player, how much did she like Irina?
Take it.
He swipes it and puts it next to some other specimens on the leftmost side of the table.
It is a regenerative properties.
Noah quirks an eyebrow. He looks at her. She looks at him. They look at each other. Silence.
I look at him.
You don't mean to say there's a chance.
We should keep
shrugs.
this quiet for the time being.
Yeah, I wouldn't let... She
Certain
tilts her
elements.
head. Hawk? Folk?
I would say lean more towards the second one at this point.
Sure.
That takes Dahlia by surprise. She's looking around like, what?
Jim looks over. Right, yes, didn't fill you in on this. He's using his actual accent and going by Falk lately. Well, the last day at least. And we can't exactly ask him why, but he's not here right now.
What happened to him? She sounds like way too worried for the situation.
What do you mean? What be happening to him? We just survived nearly dying, and he lost someone close to him.
It's a bit self-explanatory. Yeah.
People change after that.
He doesn't say anything. Just thinking.
Well, she shrugs. I heard from Fayez that he's with Eva. And she's a pretty good girl. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Huh.
Mina frowns a bit at that. You guys gotta trust more. That hadn't been working out too well. You guys are alive, aren't you?
Didn't get me here.
Didn't it, though? Nova has like this triumphant smirk on her face, like either she knows something you guys don't know, or you know in your heart of hearts that she's right. Sort of like smirk. One that's already just deemed itself the victor.
Yeah, well, trust didn't get me through my car, so...
You never know. But she shrugs. I'm not here to deliver you guys a soliloquy on morals and ethics.
That's a fun word.
She
Hell's a
shrugs.
soliloquy.
You'll learn when you're older. She smiles like, with a shitty grin.
How old are you?
When you like to know.
I would, that's why I'm asking.
Tough shit. She flies off away from the
He exits a conversation.
Yeah, she like just jetpacks essentially. Like she doesn't leave the building. She just like glides back to where she was before.
I have to go. Does she normally just leave conversations like that?
When you're as fast as her, do you think there's any reason why you shouldn't? Was that a compliment I just heard? Shut up. +1 for me. She does like a fist bump.
Thank you. She says to Grover.
No thanks needed.
Well, you just got one anyway.
He stares at the pomegranate. Might I ask, what is your... He thinks how to say it. Drive for all your alchemical pursuits.
My family did it.
That's it?
What
Just
kept
a
us
family
alive.
tradition?
No. But it's gotten me this far.
Is your family nearby?
No.
Then allow me to restate my question. What is your drive for it? Not what drove you to it. What is your drive for continuing the practice of it?
I don't think there's one answer for that. But I want to know what things do. And why they're doing it. And I want to make new things. Helpful things.
Helpful things. That's your rationale for all of this practice.
Or
To help
harmful.
others.
To help myself. I don't know if you've seen me. She'll motion to herself. But I'm not the strongest.
Roll me an insight roll.
Okay.
So you're like a smith that makes armaments. But only for yourself.
Nice.
21.
21.
He's very, very prying. Or not prying, but inquisitive of you right now. Be mindful of what you say. And keep in mind the audience that you're saying it to. I see. Perhaps in due time you'll find other reasoning. One can hope.
I think in due time I'll find a better way to explain myself.
He shakes his head. You've explained yourself fine. He goes back to working on stuff. '21 insight. Grover is definitely a well-accomplished alchemist. And despite him asking for payments or exchanges, he has not asked you for any payment for trying to help and save Irina.
Mm-hmm.
That might tell you a bit about who he's like, or what he's like, and who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Alchemy is a very, very powerful tool. As you are well knowledgeable of by the legends that it is incorporated with. Like guns, dynamite, explosives in general. Because that's what that comes from alchemy. It can be wielded right and wrong, at least to his perception.
They're wanting to make helpful tools, but selfishly doing so.
If you're doing it for yourself, then perhaps you don't deserve to know it. But what's said is said. You can check back in with him later. Perhaps he'll have made some advancements on the Irina situation. He's certainly working quite hard at it, despite having little investment in the situation himself. Go. Shad walks up to you guys, tilting his head.
I suppose it's as good this time as any.
Sure.
He thinks for a second. He looks at you, Dahlia, gets his answer immediately, looks to Eugen. You are, good with animals, yes?
It is a blessing I was bestowed, yes.
Oh, very good. He looks to Mina, and you? I'm alright with them, bruv. I was close to one particular one, but been a while. Not bad with him, if that's what you're asking.
God, I wish I remember what that animal's name was right now.
That is good enough. He turns to comedian, does a very low bow. Sensei. She nods. Grover. He bows towards Grover, who does a thumbs up without looking in his direction. Looks to Nova, does a bow. Senpai. And now, hi. Safe travels. Let me know if you need anything. She gives a conspiratory wink at him. He nods a couple times at that. I will. Let's go outside. You guys follow Shroud outside, closing the door behind you, I assume. I have an idea to get there faster. Quick.
Okay.
Pretty quiet. He thinks for a second. He shakes his head. Not quiet, but not noticeable. Nina tilts her head at that. What do you mean, not quiet but not noticeable, bro? That sounds like the opposite of each other. He holds up a scroll. Yes. She blinks a couple times. Bruv. Hey. Do you have any idea how little that narrows it down? He looks at the scroll, looks back to her. Oh.
Jin just lightly chuckles. Don't give him that type of a time. It's a difficult thing to describe.
He looks not at the sun, because that's dumb, but in the direction of where light is stemming from for the day, and angles his hand, puts his hands together and mimics makes a shadow puppet of a bird. It's a very deft shadow puppet. Like this. Mina does it. She's not she's confused by it, but she's oh? Intrigued, more like. Quirks an
Yes.
eyebrow at it.
Are you suggesting move in the shadows themselves?
No.
No.
Become shadow.
Oh,
You can just do that, bruv. Hi.
yeah, no, my sentiments, exactly.
I am trying to learn this new ability. I think it would be helpful. Mina like puts her hands on her hips, like, huh. Looks at you guys and just shrugs, like, fuck it.
I mean, what's better than a field test?
He looks. It's Shroud has like a person of micro expressions, but there's a less than micro expression as you say that, as he gets this sort of boyish, giddy joy, like, oh,
Yeah! Let's go!
Okay.
Approval!
then come closer. This feels like we're riding with Nova again. That is where I got the idea from. Fucking course. She like just sort of mutters off to the side.
I mean, it would make sense, considering the... Actually, hold on, you referred to two of them as senpai, but Grover as Grover.
Grover doesn't like it when I call him anything else.
Makes sense.
Both your own perception.
I can roll your perception and not add guidance to it.
I'm not toggling it off. I'll just leave it on.
18.
It's pretty good.
You guys close the door behind you, but it's ajar right now.
When did it... Is it a hermetically sealed jar? We can use that.
No, it's not, I'm afraid.
No!
Well, we also